Hello everybody, Beetle Dave once again. Today I thought we would do something slightly different for me because we're not actually going to talk about records. We're actually going to talk about this Beatles CD box set that I've had for a few years. It's basically the Beatles American albums. I say basically because there's a few missing. So you get 13 original US albums presented in both mono and stereo. Excuse me. Replica miniature LP packaging. This set contains Meet the Beatles, the Beatles' second album, A Hard Day's Night original motion picture soundtrack, Something New, the Beatles story, Beetles 65, the early Beatles, Beetle Six, Help, original motion picture soundtrack, Rubber Soul, Yesterday Today, Revolver, and Hey Jude. Now, the reason I say that it is the majority of the studio albums is it obviously hasn't got Sergeant Pepper. For some reason, it hasn't got Magical Mystery Tour, which was always part of the American catalogue, wasn't it? And then it hasn't got the Beatles' White Album, Yellow Submarine, Abbey Road, and Let It Be. Although by then, you know, a lot of the British albums and the American albums were the same ones. That's probably why they're not in it. So yeah, I've had, like I say, I've had this a few years. Just thought it'd be nice to share something other than records for a change. Looking on eBay just before I came up, you can actually still buy this. This is a genuine copy. It's not one from China. So a genuine one like this, you can still pick up, but they're not cheap. They're about £200. So when you open it up, it opens up like that. So that's the empty box on the inside. That's what it says on the back. That's the front. You get that little bit of foam, which goes over the CDs like that, just to keep them nice. So as it says, you know, they are basically miniature replicas of the first, you know, of the US albums. I'm not going to open every one up. I will just open one up to show you what they are like. So you get these little sleeves like this. So you have to open them up. Meet the Beatles. So when you open it up, you do actually get a replica of the inner sleeve as well. So as you can see, they've actually gone to some trouble to make them look like really as close as a CD can be to the original LP, if that makes sense. I sort of like know what I mean. So like I say, you do get the mono and the stereo versions on this. So it's only one CD, technically it's two. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to show everyone like that. I'm just going to show the odd one. I'll go through the track listing and things like that, because it is interesting, because some of them had British counterparts, some of them didn't. I'll just put it back in the sleeve while I remember. So let's start with a brief description of each LP then. Meet the Beatles was basically the USA's version of the UK with the Beatles album, with a couple of exceptions. First, you've got I Want to Hold Your Hand, which of course wasn't on the British LP. That was the current single at the time when With the Beatles was released. Then you've got I Saw Her Standing There, which of course was on the British Please Please Me LP, wasn't it? This Boy, which was a B-side. Then you've got It Won't Be Long, All I've Got to Do, and All My Lovin'. Now they was all on the British with the Beatles, wasn't it? Don't Bother Me, Little Child, Till There Was You, which I think was on British Beatles album, British with the Beatles album. Hold Me Tight, I Want to Be Your Man, and Not a Second Time. So all in all, you know, quite similar to the British album, wasn't it? I haven't played these for a while, so I'm gonna have to like just tell you what they sound like through your memory. A bit hard to do because I don't like comparing a CD to a record sound wise, because sometimes a CD can sound a lot better than an LP. Sometimes they don't sound as good because sometimes they sound a bit compressed. But if I can remember rightly, that one did actually sound really, really nice. So that's the first one with the Beatles. Second one is the Beatles' second album. So on here you get Roll Over Beethoven, Thank You Girl, You Really Got a Hold on Me, Devil in Her Heart, Money, and You Can't Do That. Then on the B side, I mean, I'll say it's a B side. I mean, obviously CD is only one sided, isn't it? You would have had Long Tall Sally, I Call Your Name, Please Mr. Postman, I'll Get You, and She Loves You. Again, you know, very, very faithful to the original LP. I'm not going to get every one of these out, as I've said, because they're all, you know, they're all on the, as far as I know, they're all on the Rainbow Capital label. Again, yeah, very, very nice. In fact, I can't remember when I bought these. I think I bought them when they came out, but I know I got them for a good price. Didn't pay anywhere near what they're charging nowadays for them. Like I say, if you are going to get them, make sure it's not the Chinese copies, because reading the reviews on them, you're still paying quite a bit of money for them. You'll still be paying over £100, but the sound quality on them and everything is absolutely rubbish. Don't take my word for that, just read the reviews. Next up, we've got A Hard Day's Night. Now, this is nothing like the British LP of the same name, because you've got incidental and film music together with the Beatles songs. I will show you this one because I think this is actually on United Artists instead of Capitol. Let's have a quick look. I'm not sure if I like these or not. I mean, yeah, it's keeping the CDs really nice, but nice thick cardboard sleeve cover. That is the inner sleeve for it. And that is the actual CD. I don't think I've actually got this one on LP. Yeah, if any of you watched my video from a couple of days ago now, where I was actually I did a chart of the original Beatles studio albums, and in that I had to do from 13 to number 1. There's 13 of those, only ever 12 original Beatles studio albums. I did include Magical Mystery Tour on that because it is classed as a Beatles UK album now. But that one, yeah, love it. Very nice. Like I say, you know, they've been very faithful to the original record company sleeves, haven't they? Next up, we've got Something New. Yeah. Track listing. Now, in America, this was actually made up. We've been into this before. I had to sort of like 2 British Beatles albums. In America, they'd make like 4, maybe even 5 LPs out of the 2 because they'd had singles and tracks from other albums and things like that. So on this one, you've got Things We Said Today, Anytime at All, When I Get Home, Slow Down, Matchbox, and the German version of I Want to Hold Your Hand, which I won't even attempt to say because I'll probably make a cock up of it. Komm die meine Hand, something like that, anyway. And then you've got plus from the original motion picture of A Hard Day's Night, I'll Cry Instead, Tell me why, and I love it. I'm happy just to dance with you, and if I fell. Now, a little interesting thing about this album is it's an American or USA pressing, isn't it? I'm on about the album itself, not this. But in the late 60s, you could actually get this as a UK export copy. And they're worth a hell of a lot of money if you've got one. Next up, we've got the Beatles story, which for those of you that don't know, this is a double album. And it's basically just snippets from radio interviews and things they did in 1964. There's only snippets of songs, and I do mean snippets, like 20 seconds, 10 seconds, things like that. I've actually got a couple of these on record. I've got the original ones on the Rainbow Capital label, and then it was later on Apple in the USA as well. It's nice. It's something different. We never used to get interview albums in the UK. Not till the 70s. I think the first one in the 70s that we ever got was the David Wigg interview. And that was basically interviews from 1969 when the Beatles were basically splitting up. I think it was on Polydor, if I remember rightly. Yeah. So that's it. The Beatles story. Next we have Beatles 65. This was like the USA's version of Beatles for Sale, wasn't it? Minus a couple of songs. No Reply, I'm a Loser, Babies in Black, Rock and Roll Music, I'll Follow the Sun, Mr. Moonlight. When You Don't, I'll Be Back, She's a Woman, I Feel Fine, Everybody's Trying to Be My Baby. I have got this on LP. In fact, I think I've got about 3 copies of it on LP. It is an American album. It is, quite close to the British equivalent, which was Beatles for Sale. But like I say, on these, although it says stereo on there, you do actually get the mono and the stereo mixes on it. So yeah. Now we've got the early Beatles. Now, if this would have been released in the UK, it would have been called a compilation album. But in America, for some reason, the first Beatles album, Please Please Me, was released on BJ, I think. So Capitol didn't have the rights to it until 1965. So on there you've got Love Me Do, Twist and Shout, Anna, Go to Him, Gaines, Boys, Ask Me Why, and on what would have been side 2, Please Please Me, brilliant song, P.S. I Love You, Baby It's You, A Taste of Honey, and Do You Want to Know a Secret? So actually, I still think that is a good compilation album, because that is what I would class that as, a compilation album. Now, when you got that in the USA, a lot of these songs you probably couldn't have got anywhere else. P.S. I Love You, I always think that song is a bit like, well, I know it was, because a few years ago we went to Liverpool. We like to go to Liverpool once a year. Obviously last year we couldn't do it, but the year before we went on the Magical Mystery tour. So you go by and it's not the proper bus that was in the film, but it is painted up to look like it. And they take you around where the Beatles live. So you go past John Lennon's house and things like that. Now, the bloke that narrates it as you go around, lovely chap. I think he was actually in Nowhere Boy. I think he was saying that Paul actually first wrote that as a love letter to one of his girlfriends, P.S. I Love You, when they was on tour in Hamburg. I'll be coming home to you. I'll be coming home again to you, love. So yeah, whether that's true or not, but it's a nice little story, isn't it? So yeah, I've got this one on vinyl as well. Sorry, record. Yeah, they're nice. So now we've got Beetle Six. If that's Beetle Six, there should have been 5 before that, then shouldn't there? So how many have we had before it? Let's have a look. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've got 7 albums before that, but that's Beetle Six. Again, this didn't really have an equivalent British release. It was basically leftover tracks, wasn't it, from the British Beatles for Sale album and a few tracks from the British Help album, if I remember rightly. So you've got, starts off with Kansas City. Now, ain't that Kansas City? Hey, hey, hey. That was a highlight of Beatles for Sale album, wasn't it? 8 Days a Week, which was actually released as a single in America, wasn't it? And I think that actually got to #1. You Like Me Too Much, George Harrison song, which was on British Help, wasn't it? Bad Boy, bad little kid who moves into my neighborhood. Love that song. We had to wait till 1966 to get that, and that came out on Collection of Beatles Oldies. Then I Don't Want to Spoil the Party, which was off the British Beatles for Sale album. Words of Love, again, from the Beatles for Sale album. And then what would have been on side 2, but remember the CD you just play on one side, don't you? But they've still put side 1 and side 2 on this. What You Doing, again off Beatles for Sale. Yes, it is. That's one of the best Beatles B-sides, wasn't it? Dizzy Miss Lizzie, Tell Me What You See, and Every Little Thing. So Dizzy Miss Lizzie was on the British Help album. Tell Me What You See, I think, off the British Help album, and Every Little Thing was off the British Beatles for Sale. Yeah. Again, I do have a copy of this on record, and this is another one that in the late 60s came out as a Beatles export copy on a record, not on these. And if it's on yellow and black Parlophone label, like the other one, it's worth best part of £1,000. If it's on the silver and black Parlophone with 1 box EMI, it's worth about 600. But that's not there, it's my proper album. Next up, we've got Help. Now, this is the one that, where I think, in one way, Capitol sort of like cocked it up, because in America, all you really got, as of the Beatles, was the first side of the British Beatles Help LP, and the rest of it was filled out with instrumental music, wasn't it, and things like that, you know. But that's by the by. In America, that's all that you could get. I think the cover's better. I think the actual cover on that is better than the British one. Yeah. So you've got Help, The Night Before, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, I Need You, Another Girl, Ticket to Ride, and You Gotta Lose That Girl. And exclusive instrumental mixes from the motion picture soundtrack. That's what's on there. Again, I have got this one on record. I do play it. I'm not saying it's a bad album. Obviously, in America, that is all that you got. But I would say it's not really a patch on the British one. But that is just my opinion. Next up, we have Rubber Soul. Again, you know, it's close to the original as you can get with a CD, I should imagine. Now, the thing about this is you've got a couple of songs on here that really want on the British version, because it starts off with I've Just Seen a Face, which is off the British Help album. Norwegian Wood, brilliant song. George on a sitar, isn't it? You Won't See Me, Think for Yourself, The Word, and Michelle. Now, Michelle is one of those Beatles songs that I've got like a love-hate relationship with. I do like it, but sometimes when I hear it, I just think, really? But it is what it is. Side 2, It's Only Love. I think that was on the British Help album, wasn't it? Girl, I'm Looking Through You. In My Life, Wait and Then Run for Your Life. So slightly different track listing to the British LP, but all in all, I would say that's on par with the British one. Now, this next one, I will show you it because it is actually quite nice. The Beatles, Yesterday and Today. With a trunk cover. I think this was released in 1966, but in America, you actually got this before Revolver. So you got 3 tracks on here that was actually from Revolver. So when you get got Revolver released in America, those 3 tracks weren't on it, were they? So you've got Drive My Car, which was the first track on the British Rubber Soul LP. I'm Only Sleeping, one of the outstanding tracks on the British Revolver LP. Nowhere Man. Hey, Nowhere Man. I mean, that's a classic song, isn't it, from Rubber Soul. Dr. Robert, again, off the British Revolver LP. So when you got Revolver in the US, you didn't get it. Yesterday. Yesterday. Why didn't you get that on the American Help album? Oh, that's because it was on the B side, wasn't it? Yeah, side 2. Act Naturally, again, off the British Help album. And Your Bird Can Sing. Another one of John's songs that was on the British Revolver, but you didn't get it, which is quite funny, really, because you get 3 songs off Revolver on this, and they're all John Lennon songs. So when you get the proper Revolver, when you get your version of Revolver, it looks like John Lennon's hardly done any songs for that album. If I Needed Someone, brilliant song. If I needed someone to love, you're the one that I'd be thinking of. Love that song. Again, that was off the British Rubber Soul album, wasn't it? We Can Work It Out, which was, of course, was a single. What Goes On? Not one of Ringo's best vocals, is it? I mean, it is a nice song. No disrespect to Ringo, but I think he had to sort of like sing what he could till he started writing his own songs. A couple of the ones that John and Paul wrote for him were all right, but I wouldn't say that's one of the best ones. And then Day Tripper, which of course, was a double A-sided single in the UK, which means it was a single, but both sides were promoted the same. Yeah. Now, the strange thing about this, I don't have to get it all out to show you. So, like I say, you've got the trunk cover, haven't you? But in America, when it first came out, you didn't get the trunk cover, did you? You got the butcher cover. Famous butcher cover. That is a sticker. So if you wanted to, you could actually put that on it. Why you would, I don't know, but yeah. Why was it the butcher cover? Well, I think we've said this before, haven't we? The Beatles didn't have any control over the albums that was released in America. Even George Martin didn't. Even EMI, to a certain extent, didn't, even though Capitol was part of the EMI group of companies. So I think they did the butcher cover, from what I can remember rightly, as a protest that our Capitol were butchering the LPs. Like I've said, out of 2 Beatles LPs, Capitol have made probably 4 LPs. So, yeah, very interesting. I have done a video on butcher cover. If you'd like to look at it, it is you can find it on my channel. All in all, though, I do actually think that is actually quite a good album. As I say, I think the only thing that really would let it down, like for consistency, is What Goes On. Because I can have We Can Work It Out, and then What Goes On in Your Life, and then follow that with Day Tripper. But that's just me. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, all in all, good little album. Next up, you have your version, if you live in the USA, of Revolver. Now, to me, like I said, you've got some of the best tracks on that one. So now you get Taxman, followed by Eleanor Rigby. Taxman, George Harrison's song, by the way. Brilliant song. Eleanor Rigby, love it. Love You Too, another song by George Harrison. Here, There and Everywhere. Lovely song, isn't it? Here, there, and everywhere. Yellow submarine. We all live in the yellow submarine. And then she said, she said. So at that first side, you've got two by George Harrison, two songs that is. You've got you've got two songs by Paul McCartney, one song by Ringo, and one song by John Lennon. This is what I'm saying. It makes it look like John Lennon didn't really have a lot to do with this album, but really he did. So on what would have been side two, you get Good Day Sunshine, For No One. Oh, I love that song. The day breaks and my days. Love it. I Want to Tell You, another George Harrison song. So that's three songs George Harrison had on this. Got to Get You Into My Life, and then Tomorrow Never Knows. So yeah, it is very, very close to the British one. But to me, I think in one way, in America, you got robbed because you was robbed of some of the best tracks, weren't you? You was robbed of I'm Only Sleeping. You know, that's a classic, isn't it? Dr. Robert is okay. Is an okay song. It's nothing brilliant. And as for As Your Bird Can Sing, that was probably one of the highlights on the British version. But so all in all, not too bad. And the last one that you get in this box set, last one you get is Hey Jude. Now I'm just going to have a look at this because if this is going as it should be, so like the original British album, this shouldn't be called Hey Jude, should it? It should be called Beatles again. So we'll have a look. But no, it's actually called Hey Jude on it. Again, nice Apple label. Is there anyone in here that's on the Apple? Just got an ordinary little sleeve. Hey Jude, or the Beatles again, as it was originally called. It's basically stopgap LP, wasn't it, between Abbey Road and Let It Be, compilation album. As compilation albums go, I don't suppose it's too bad. I quite like it, to be honest. As compilations go, it did have some nice songs on at the time. Obviously, some of these songs were only released as singles. So you got Hey Jude and Revolution. I mean, that was the first Apple released one by the Beatles. Wasn't on an album at the time, of course. Then you've got Paperback Writer and Rain, which was a single from 1966 again. Not on any album. It would have fitted perfectly onto Revolver, them two. I should have known better. Well, why that's on there, I'm not quite sure, because it's sort of like hard to sing, although it's a brilliant song. Lady Madonna, of course, was never on a Beatles studio album. Can't Buy Me Love. I want that on Hard Day's Night album. And I think I Should Have Known Better was on Something New album, wasn't it, in America? Don't Let Me Down, B-side to Get Back. Brilliant song. Ballad of John and Yoko. Again, never on a British Beatles album. And Old Brown Shoe, George Harrison. So that's it. So like I say, that is is it 13 CDs. You also get an insert for Love and an insert for the 13 British albums. And you get a booklet. The Beatles are coming. Capitol Records. Some nice photos in it. So yeah, like I say, For completists, it's not a complete set, is it? Because you don't get the Beatles White Album. Well, you don't get Magical Mystery Tour, which I'm quite surprised about because that was originally a USA album, wasn't it, and not a British album, but yet you'll get it in the British set. You haven't got the Beatles White Album. You haven't got Sergeant Pepper either in here. So yeah, so you haven't got Sergeant Pepper. You haven't got Magical Mystery Tour. You haven't got the White Album. You haven't got Yellow Submarine. And then you haven't got Let It Be. So to me, does that represent the complete US albums? Now, to me, it doesn't. I understand why they're not in it in one way, because they was in the British set, weren't they? But I don't know. If you look on eBay, you can still get this CD box set. I looked this morning, and for the original like this, you're talking 200 quid. Like I say, this is virtually mint because I don't think I've ever played it. Played the odd CD, but I haven't played everyone all the way through. But like it says on there, it says 13 original studio albums. A Hard Day's Night original motion picture soundtrack, the Beatles story, Yes Then Today, Hey Jude, and the US version of Revolver are presented here on CD for the first time. All in all, yeah, it is a very, very nice collection. Not that word, collection. If you was on a budget, if you paid £200 for that, is it cheaper than? I mean, you probably could get this cheaper, to be honest. I know when I bought it, it was nowhere near £200. But I say I bought it when it came out, which is quite a few years ago now, isn't it? Did it come out? 2014 that came out. But then if you look what the equivalent UK studio CD albums are going for, it's about on par, isn't it? I'd say, even if you do pay the £200. Is it cheaper than buying them all separate? I don't know, because I don't really know what they go for separate. It's nice. It is nice to have that to compare with the British ones. Very nice. It is nicely made, sturdy box and everything. Not as cheap as some of the things that have been coming out from the Beatles just lately. Well, I say the Beatles, it's under the Beatles name, but it's stuff that Apple can't control, isn't it? Would I recommend this? Yeah, I would. If you've got the money, I would recommend it. The only downside is try and get an original copy. Don't try it. If you get one of these that comes from China, yeah, you might get a little bit cheaper. Won't be as nice. Won't be in as sturdy a box. No, it'll look the same. Don't get me wrong. The box and everything looks the same. But the sound quality will be on them. Like I say, read some of the reviews, and you don't really save that much money. And even if you are saving money, if you can't play them, or the sound quality is that bad, you don't want to play them. It's not worth having them in the first place, is it? So you might think you're saving a few quid, but really you're not, because you'd either be really, really fed up that you bought them, or you'll think, well, why didn't I wait, save me money, and then buy that. I think, see, I don't very often play CDs now, and I haven't got the equivalent UK box set. I've got all the CDs in a box over there. I've got all the CDs, so I can compare them. But I think that would make a nice box set to go with the UK box set if you're into CDs. I don't think this was ever released on vinyl. As far as I know, you could only ever get that as a CD box set. Like the British equivalent or the UK equivalent, you could actually get it on vinyl as well, which is worth mega money now. Anyway, for everybody that is subscribing, thank you very much. If you've been watching my videos and you like them, why don't think about subscribing, because it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost a penny, and then you will get notifications from when I'm doing things like this, obviously. And this is a little bit different for me today, because usually all I go on about is my records. As you see, there's loads of records all the way along there. But record collecting is sometimes more than just record collecting. If you're a Beatles fan, you might have CDs or even tapes, or even, what were they called, 8-tracks. They're worth quite a bit now. 8-track cartridge. I don't know if you can remember. I can only vaguely remember them. They used to be in cars, didn't they? I think you could get them on like old music centres. But even there, they was a bit weird, because the track listing would not necessarily be the same as on a record. They have the same songs, but they might be in slightly different orders. Anyway, so yeah, everybody that has subscribed, thank you very much. If you'd like to subscribe, please do. It is free, as I've said before. If you want to like me videos, please do. If you want to leave comments, please do. I'm just here to try and shed some light on collecting and the Beatles. 99.9% of this channel is about the Beatles, because it's Beetle Dave's channel, isn't it? But sometimes we do other things. I mean, I've done a few things on David Bowie LPs, and I've done a couple of things. I did one the other week on a Sex Pistols LP. So it is mainly Beatles, but as a collector, excuse me, I'm going to start show other things as well, but I don't want to do too many, because, like I say, it's Beetle Dave's channel, isn't it? So, like I say, all I'm doing is share my knowledge with you and my thoughts, and they are only my thoughts, So, I'm not being paid by Capital or EMI to endorse this. That is my own personal copy. They haven't sent me that. Everything you see, everything that I put on these videos, I own. They are my own personal collection. I out of my own personal collection. And that's going to be about it for today. I might do another one later. I've got something that I'm thinking of doing. And if you are interested, well, let's just say you'll have to wait and see if I do it, but it could surprise you, because if I do it, it's not actually about the Beatles. It is about their record, and it's by a very, very well-known group. But yeah, you'll have to check in. If you subscribe, you'll have to check your notifications. Yeah, so as always, love your records, cherish your records, clean your records, but above all, play your records. That's what they're there for, to play. Marvelous things, aren't the records? Are really, really good. But I'm starting to wobble on again now. So anyway, from Derby in the UK, this is going to be it for now. But like I say, hopefully I am going to do a video later on today, and I think it will be of interest to anybody that collects records, anybody that's into British records, anybody that's into the Beatles. It has sort of like got a Beatles connection in one way, but I can't really say too much, because you'll have to wait and see. So as always, I'll do a quick weather report, and then I'm going to go. Derby, very dull today. Doesn't look like it's going to rain, but it is very, very dull. But it's quite muggy, if that's the word. Doesn't it? Once again, for everybody that's supporting my channel, thank you very much. As you know, I haven't been doing this channel for very long, and it is just a bit of fun, and I don't take myself that serious. Not like some people. You know, I'm just here to spread a little bit of happiness to it all. So for now, I'm going to say cheerio. Whatever you're doing, stay safe, and don't forget to check later on to see if I've done this other video. Hopefully I will, but till I see you on the other side, thank you very much and take care.